Now this is the reversal ring. Reversal ring is just a very simple ring, which, like any kind of filter, it's got a filter thread here, but the interesting thing is at the back, this side is where you can attach it to the camera. So if you've got a camera and a lens, in this case it's the Canon 50mm f1.8 2, not the new one, you could just screw it in to the front like any normal filter. Then you can detach the lens and mount it in reverse orientation. So now it is effectively a macro lens. Now the bigger disadvantage to this is the contacts are here. These contacts are what controls the autofocus and in particular the aperture. So the aperture is going to be constantly wide open. You cannot change that, and that actually means that the pictures you take with it are going to have a very, very, very narrow depth of field. So it's a little bit difficult to use. So already your focusing is actually by just moving it forwards and backwards, because obviously there's no autofocus because the elements are here. So you have to focus by moving further and closer because it's got a fixed focal distance of, say, about here. Yeah, and it's difficult to use. But if you've already got a 50mm lens, one of these adapters, it's like $10. It's like £2. You can buy it for absolutely nothing. And if you haven't got a macro lens, you've got a 50mm, for £2 extra you do it. And there's no extra glass. This is the thing, there's nothing in there. There's nothing to actually make the quality of your glass worse. You're not adding extra filters, you're not adding extra glass, which will reduce your image quality. You're literally just turning your thing around. So however sharp this is normally, it will be just as sharp as a macro lens with a narrow depth of field. Now, one alternative, which I tend to use and I quite like, is, I'll just take this off again. Instead of this, you can pick up one of these. Now this is an old manual focus lens. Now the good thing about manual focus lenses are you can control the focus and the aperture easily. So if you take this off, undo it, this is an M42, this is a Pentacon M42 lens. This comes with the old MTL3 film cameras, which you could pick up for about £7 on eBay with this lens. And you can see here, just with using this dial, I can control the aperture. Now this makes life easier, because if I reverse mount this, I can control the aperture. So if I just take off, taking off the filter from my 50mm, I've already got a step-up ring here, 49 to 52mm. This is a 52mm reversal ring. I can screw it on. And I can mount it on my camera. Now I have something where I can actually control the aperture. Yeah, I can control the aperture manually. So this will allow me, first of all, to get close to my subject, to have the macro effect, and to control the depth of field, giving me greater control of my image. These lenses are cheap, these adapters are cheap, so even if you don't have an all-manual lens, don't worry. If you've got a 50mm or an old kit lens you're not doing anything with, you can reverse it. And if you can pick up an old lens or pilfer one or steal one off your dad or your grandfather's old camera, I would recommend doing so. This is actually a very good lens. Image quality wise, it's pretty much similar to the 50mm Canon 1.8. It's really cheap and I can control the aperture, so for the job, it's perfect.